Okay, so yesterday you folks took a look at, oh, I totally spaced there. You folks took a look at that short story, Between Shades of Grey. Or not Between Shades of Grey, wow, I'm totally off here. Oh, in the Striped Pajamas, there we go. You folks read that excerpt from the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and you analyzed how Finding Light in the Darkness fits 3 specific parts of the story. So how would that theme have fit into the beginning, middle, and the end? All right, now we're going to take that idea of the theme, and we're going to analyze it with a different set of individuals. So if you haven't already, this is your theme, entry 11. It's part 2, so either on the back side of what you wrote yesterday or on a new sheet, go ahead and set it up as you see it. We're going to be making a chart that is almost identical to the one that you folks saw yesterday. There's just going to be one change. Here it is. The only change that we're going to see are these talking points in that left-hand column. So take a moment to go ahead and set that up. First row is really thin. It's just titles of headings. Rows 2 through 4 are what should take up the bulk of your page. So with this secondary part of the entry, you're going to be making talking points about our 2 major characters, Bruno and Shmuel, and also the setting and the place. So we know the setting of that particular scene in the story. It was a concentration camp, and we had these 2 boys. One was inside the fence, one was outside the fence. One boy is brought up with some privileges. His father is a Nazi soldier. He's well-to-do. In his dialogue, it seems that this child has never had any kind of hardship ever. He's kind of naive to everything that's going on. Whereas Shmuel is kind of the opposite. Shmuel has to deal with a lot right now, and it's because he's a victim. Hitler's. So what you folks are going to do is almost exactly the same as what you did yesterday. Don't freak out if you didn't get the charts on. It's going to pop up just bigger on the next screen. Still there, just a little bit bigger. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes to go through that excerpt one more time, and I want you to pull out information to help explain how Bruno and Shmuel both fit into that theme of finding light in the darkness, but also how exactly can the concentration camp fit into that theme? So how do the boys find the good in the bad situation? With the actual camp itself, what is the good happening in the bad there? And then you also want to provide your textual evidence, which would be a quote that could help prove that point. So I'm going to give you folks about 6 minutes to kind of look through, develop a few more talking points. And once the time's up, then you're going to get a handle of what your discussion is going to contain today. All right, any questions that you got? Cool. Okay, you've got 6 minutes to kind of work with this chart. Okay, now you've had some time to kind of get a little bit more of some talking points kind of finalized for the most part. So we're just going to go over something that looks almost identical to what you folks saw the last time that you were prepping for your group discussion. So this one is really similar in that your main objective is to hit home the point that Finding Light in the Darkness was in this excerpt. It was in this piece. And you're going to prove it. Okay? You've got tons of evidence that you can use as a reference and as a guide. Make sure that each member is participating as best as they can. That number one question you can ask if someone seems lost, what's your opinion? What do you think? Really simple. All right, now in terms of what you folks are going to discuss, that's right here. Okay, there's 5 questions. 2 of them look almost identical to what you saw in Life is Beautiful. There's then a 5th, an additional one that might add a little bit more conversation. Just like last time, you folks have 15 minutes to discuss all of these questions. So the first one is asking what would be considered the greatest light in the darkness of this excerpt. So what maybe was the best event, the best situation that was happening within this piece? Okay, your second question, how can a child's view change reality into something pleasant? Third, that's one that you folks have seen before. The fourth and fifth are almost identical. The only difference, the fourth one's asking for connections between this text and other texts that we've looked at in class. The fifth one is asking for your personal connection. So don't think about it in terms of, well, these boys are dealing with something I've never dealt with before. I'm sure you folks have had an instance where you are making a friend who isn't necessarily someone from your world, so to speak. They come from a completely different background. They deal with different challenges than you. So that could be something that you use as personal connection. I'm going to give you about a minute to kind of quick review the questions, decide how do you and your group mates maybe want to divvy up everything, how could you introduce this conversation, how could you conclude it, and I'll give you that countdown when time is getting started to tick away. All right, so go ahead, you got about 1 minute to prepare yourselves.